EF investments, many other donors have stepped in to reinforce the community efforts that are going into training and farmer-to-farmer diffusion of these technologies in agroforestry. But indeed, this success is not limited to the Sahel. Actually, we have now just mapped last year a vast transformation going on in Malawi, in southern Africa, where farmers, over 1 million farmers, are documented to now being restoring indigenous trees and planted trees in their croplands throughout the country. So southern Africa has a model of an entire country from north to south where farmers are now regenerating trees in their croplands for soil fertility, fodder production, fuel wood for the family and for sale, and timber for the market. Next door in Tanzania, you may have heard about the enormous success that's occurred there in attacking desertification. Again, back in the 1970s and 80s, the lands in northwestern Tanzania, in the region of Shinyanga, suffered from severe desertification due to massive tree cutting, opening up the land, and overgrazing from the pastoralists. But today, a transformation. We now have documented that over 500,000 hectares have been regenerated through assisted natural regeneration in the rangelands of Shinyanga. And that involved the people that lives in over 1,000 villages, actually, and a development that has created a new transformed grazing environment for thousands of households. And it has been awarded the UNDP Equator Prize for its global significance in terms of transformation. This is a model that has been documented in detail by a number of different publications, but unfortunately it hasn't been scaled up as extensively as it could. It's a model that provides lessons for community mobilization that is the basis for the restoration of rangelands as well as farmlands in Tanzania and Kenya as well. Well, up north in Ethiopia, there's also some major developments underway. We have documented that Phytherbia albida, this tree that is also indigenous in the Sahel, is present commonly on farmlands throughout Ethiopia. In fact, we've documented that over 1 million farms in Ethiopia have been nurturing Phytherbia albida within their crop fields, such as this, a field of teff in the Rift Valley. Well, in fact, the production or the regeneration of these trees is now being promoted by a massive national government program of Ethiopia, patronized by the former Prime Minister, to enable farmers across the country to accelerate the regeneration of Phytherbia and to plant Phytherbia in areas where it is not so common. So the farmlands of Ethiopia are targeted for restoration through the upscaling of Phytherbia. And by the way, this is a tree that is indigenous to Kenya, particularly in the northern and eastern parts of the country, that is now being extended through a number of projects and programs in those areas for the benefit of farmers and pastoralists in current programs. Also, assisted natural regeneration has been employed on a vast scale in Ethiopia for the regeneration of the watersheds, the water towers, the hilly lands, the mountain lands of the country, which had been deforested and degraded to a considerable extent, but are now being regenerated through what the Ethiopians call a closure movement, in which villages surrounding the watersheds agree to cut down or eliminate their harvesting and grazing from those natural forest areas to enable the trees to regrow, and they prune and they thin and they manage those areas for optimum biomass production for fodder